In the southern United States, wild boar populations are growing rapidly, wreaking havoc on cornfields and crops across the hills. Each uncontrolled boar can destroy tons of harvest every year, threatening farmers' livelihoods. Immediate action is needed to stop them before the neighboring fields are completely ruined. Will the plan succeed? Watch until the end to find out. Before dawn even broke, we had silently surrounded the hillside. Every step was aimed at blocking every path down to the fields. My eyes scanned the area, and suddenly, it stopped me. There it was. A decisive, precise trigger squeeze brought down the target before it even sensed danger. Every step was driven by unwavering determination, protecting the crops and the safety of the people on this rugged terrain. It must be admitted, the wild boars here are extremely cunning. They know the terrain, slipping through the brush to avoid every watchful eye. By reading their movement patterns, I was able to divide them into smaller groups to control each individual hiding in the undergrowth. Everything was set. Now, it was up to the shooter's reflexes to determine success or failure. Would they act in time? And the result? Complete success. Not just me, but all other teams also achieved their objectives according to the planned strategy, fully protecting the crops for the local farmers. The gunfire echoed across the hillside, sending the wild boars into a panicked flight. Every step of the chase followed their tracks closely, with all senses stretched to the limit. 15 minutes passed, and the strong, distinctive scent helped me react in time when a boar finally appeared. Shots were immediately taken. Their escape could not evade the barrels honed through countless hours of training and real action. Do you agree with controlling this wild species in this way? We expected them to hide as usual, but the dark shapes kept appearing one by one, challenging the professional hunters. Distance did not shake our determination to protect the crops. Each decisive trigger pull, filled with focus and resolve, quickly locked onto its target. If this one escaped, the entire field would hang by a thread. After each precise trigger pull, the wild boars began their flight deeper into the thickets. The chase continued without pause. When I spotted the massive dark shape, I stayed calm, waiting for the perfect moment to take the shot. Nice! Each shot brought down the more than 200-kilogram beast with precision. Did you enjoy watching that final takedown? As dusk fell, the search continued relentlessly. In the dim light, new targets gradually revealed themselves. The decisive gunfire confirmed that the wild boars could not escape their fate. Each accurate shot not only protected the crops, but also demonstrated our determination to maintain security and order, fully complying with U.S. wildlife laws. The local community can now breathe a sigh of relief. The crops are safe, and peace has returned, thanks to the dedication and responsibility behind every action.
In Germany, a silent but brutal war is raging. Wild boars are tearing through farmland, destroying crops and livelihoods. Seasoned hunters have taken up arms, stepping into a relentless pursuit that's far more than just a hunt. It's a battle to protect the hard-earned fruits of the land. This isn't your average hunt. It's a high-stakes mission where experience, precision, and courage collide. Follow these brave hunters into the thick of the forest, where every step could lead to a heart-pounding encounter with one of nature's most ferocious beasts. Will they succeed in bringing these powerful animals under control, or will the wild continue its rampage? Join us on this gripping journey, one filled with danger, determination, and raw, untamed action. The team moved silently, each step careful to avoid making a sound. They reached a high hillside, offering a wide view to survey the entire area. In the distance, a dark shape shifted, wild boar. James raised his binoculars and signaled his teammates to get ready. Nick held his breath, aiming his rifle at the target. They waited, tense as if on a battlefield. This was the moment to strike decisively. A gunshot tore through the quiet air. The wild boar fell. The first victory was won, but the battle had only just begun. Could they continue their journey and quell the wild boar menace? Stay tuned for the next thrilling hunts. James and his team quickly changed positions. They moved skillfully toward a pre-planned ambush site. The atmosphere grew tense, each man silent, fully focused. Less than 15 minutes later, Jake suddenly raised his hand and signaled. Through his binoculars, he spotted a herd of wild boars approaching the area. A gunshot cracked, shattering the morning silence. One of the boars was hit and fell immediately. Not long after, the sharp baying of hunting dogs echoed down the trail, signaling that the target had appeared. James and his team moved immediately, heading straight toward the source of the sound. They hid behind dense bushes, all poised and ready, eyes fixed on the area ahead. The tension was thick in the air. Just seconds later, a massive dark shape burst out from the thicket. Seizing the moment, James squeezed the trigger. The sharp crack of the rifle echoed loud and clear. The wild boar collapsed, motionless on the ground, no chance to escape. Another wild boar was down, ending the threat to the farmer's crops. The hunt continued, but this victory fueled the team's determination. Do you think the shot was fast and accurate enough? Leave us a comment and let us know. After a long journey, the team decided to move to a snowy area in Lower Saxony. Here, another hunting party had already begun tracking wild boars hiding in tall, dry grass. Nick held his position at the edge of a thick patch of grass. The atmosphere grew tense. Suddenly, a massive wild boar slipped out of the grass, preparing for another wave of destruction. Nick held his breath, waiting for the moment the beast fully emerged from cover. He squeezed the trigger. The sharp crack of the rifle shattered the forest silence. One precise shot ended the threat. If he had hesitated even a second, the monster could have caused unpredictable damage to the fields. This victory helped protect the hard-earned harvest of the farmers. On this side, where the snow fell thick and heavy, James faced off directly against a giant wild boar. It stood towering in the midst of the white snowfall, full of defiance. The atmosphere grew tense, almost suffocating. James held his breath, slowly raising his rifle, aiming straight at the target. He knew there was only one chance to end this battle. Suddenly, the boar charged, fast as an arrow. James squeezed the trigger. The sharp crack of the shot tore through the stillness of the forest. Next, Nick had the final target of the day in his sights. Swift as a flash, Nick leaned to the side, reloaded, and squeezed the trigger, determined not to let the boar escape. The shot hit its mark, sending the wild boar staggering. It wobbled, then collapsed into the thick snow. The entire forest fell silent. Only the sound of falling snow remained. A monster was taken down, bringing peace back to this land. Nick stood there, breathing a sigh of relief, his rifle still smoking. The fierce battle against these destructive invaders has come to an end, at least for now here. After the echoing gunshots, the fields have returned to their peaceful state. A heartfelt thanks goes to the support of the local community and authorities who made this mission possible. Though this journey has ended, the fight against wild boars continues in many other places. Stay tuned for the next chapters, and don't miss the thrilling and meaningful.
In the dense tangled forest, where sunlight barely breaks through, wild boars find the perfect place to hide. Every year, they destroy nearly 800 tons of crops, causing millions of euros in damage to farmers across Germany. Their numbers are rising rapidly, and so is their aggression, turning them into an urgent threat that can no longer be ignored. In response, Thomas and his hunting team are called into action, stepping up to defend both the harvest and the people who depend on it. But going up against a smart and dangerous enemy like the wild boar is no ordinary task. So, how do they prepare? How do they strike? The intense battle that follows will reveal everything. At the break of dawn, swift footsteps moved quietly through the forest, sealing off every corner, leaving no path unchecked. As each hunter reached their assigned post, they stood ready, fully alert for the battle to come. They didn't have long to wait. A pack of wild boars suddenly emerged, snaking through the trees, heading straight toward Thomas. The moment he caught sight of them, he squeezed the trigger, dropping one instantly. The rest of the herd scattered in panic, crashing through the underbrush. But Thomas wasn't about to let them vanish without a fight. Without hesitation, he signaled the other positions, determined to stop the intruders once and for all. From another position, Leon spotted a wild boar on the run, darting across his line of sight. Without hesitation, he took a single precise shot. The target dropped instantly. A clean execution, completing his mission with flawless precision. Moments later, gunfire echoed from all directions, signaling that more fleeing boars had been taken down. The forest, once tense with movement, now settled into a quiet calm, restored if only slightly, by each well-placed shot fired with purpose. Meanwhile, Thomas was still on the move, tracking every sign, following fresh traces through the underbrush. After a short pursuit, his sharp eyes locked onto a wild boar, hiding silently among a tight cluster of trees. He took aim with care, and with one swift, decisive shot, he brought calm back to this part of the forest. Indeed, the title of the team's top marksman is no exaggeration. Nothing escapes Thomas's eye, and nothing gets a second chance. This time positioned on the southern hillside, Thomas quickly moved into place, scanning the terrain with sharp focus. Suddenly, the bark of a hunting dog broke the silence, snapping his attention toward the sound. His eyes locked in just as a massive wild boar emerged from the brush. Without hesitation, a single sharp crack echoed through the trees. The beast dropped instantly beside a nearby bush. A swift, clean takedown, powerful and precise, like a warning shot for whatever else might be lurking. Pushing deeper into the terrain, Thomas's eyes never wavered from the mission. Suddenly, a panicked boar burst out of the underbrush, sprinting blindly across his path. The moment was there, and Thomas pulled the trigger without delay. It was over in an instant. The last animal lay still on the gravel, motionless. Another season's crops, and the people who defend them, had just been safeguarded. As the last light of day faded beneath the dense canopy, a wild boar stepped into Leon's sights. Just a few gunshots echoed through the trees, and the target was instantly neutralized. A clean, decisive takedown. The perfect ending before nightfall settled in. What did you think of that final shot? Was it raw instinct, years of learned skill, or both? If it were you, do you think you could have pulled it off? Drop a comment below and let the team know what you think. Your support keeps us going. Millions of wild boars are rampaging across Spain, causing damage worth millions of euros each year. With their numbers now soaring past 2 million, these beasts aren't just a threat, they're an enemy that must be faced head-on. This time, Kevin and his team are heading deep into the dense forests of Madrid, where every step could mean danger. This isn't just a hunt, it's a true battle for survival. Out here, it's not simply hunter versus prey. It's a test of grit, instinct, and raw determination. Will they rise to the challenge, or will the wild boars continue to rule the woods? Stay tuned, the real hunt begins now. By 5 a.m., with the cold morning mist still clinging to every leaf and branch, Kevin's team pushed into the Madrid forest, fully prepped and ready. As they stepped into the designated zone, all eyes sharpened, scanning every shadow with tense focus. Just minutes in, Kevin's gaze swept across the trees ahead, then locked in. There it was, a lone wild boar wandering slowly through the brush. The moment had come. Without hesitation, Kevin steadied his aim. A single shot rang out, clean and precise. The beast dropped instantly, never saw it coming. A strong start to the day's hunt, and a warning shot from whatever else lurks deeper in the woods. Kevin's team pushed deeper into the forest. High-tech binoculars came out fast, locking onto any possible movement. It didn't take long. Within minutes, a shape moved stealthily beneath the thick canopy. Hidden well, but not well enough. The target was spotted. Every move was executed with expert precision, measured down to the last millimeter. Smooth, efficient, deadly. Though this boar wasn't the biggest, the clean takedown marked another proud notch on the team's record. Every shot counts when you're out here proving your worth. At the same time, Jay remained silent, locked in position at his ambush point. Suddenly, a wild boar emerged, foraging calmly beneath the foliage, completely unaware of the danger closing in. In a split second, the silence was broken. A single shot rang out. The bullet struck true, dropping the target instantly. No struggle, no second chance. It was a flawless shot. No warning. No room for retaliation, just one less threat in the forest. Barely had the team caught their breath when a signal came in from the fields below. Wild boars spotted. Without hesitation, the team mobilized fast, moving into position and forming a tight formation to block every possible escape route. As they reached the edge of the field, a full herd was already charging back toward their den. But there was no getting past Kevin. His sights were locked. A barrage of shots rang out, each one hitting its mark. One by one, the beasts fell. It was a clean sweep, a flawless assault. Swift, decisive, and final. No more destruction, no second chances. Deep in the open grasslands, a dark blur suddenly shot through the tall grass. Fast, almost too fast to follow, but not fast enough. Kevin didn't hesitate. One sharp movement, one clean shot, and it was over. Every step, every motion was flawless. No hesitation, no mistakes. Now, let us ask you this. Were you impressed by that shot? Do you think the boar might have had a chance? If it had been just a little faster? Drop your thoughts in the comments. We want to hear what you think. The sunlight was fading, and the team began making their way back to the rally point. But just as the hunt seemed to be over, Jay spotted movement, a wild boar hiding deep in the grasslands. No hesitation, he adjusted his aim, locked in through the scope. A single shot cracked through the evening air, and with it, the chase ended. One more threat eliminated. And for now, at least, the field returned to its rightful silence. The fight against the wild beasts is temporarily over, bringing peace back to the fields. Today's success was made possible by the teamwork of the hunting crew, local residents, and authorities alike. We thank everyone for their support in helping the team complete the mission. Looking at the ravaged, torn-up fields, once rich and fertile, we knew right away this enemy wasn't your average nuisance. According to local villagers, the one leading the charge was a massive hog, weighing hundreds of kilos and mean as hell. Without hesitation, we set out with one goal in mind: track it down and restore peace to the people. But the question hung heavy in the air. Would our experience and teamwork be enough to face down this monster? Follow our hunting crew as we take on one of our toughest missions yet. At the crack of dawn, after a quick strategy session, we moved into position. Each member took up their post, locking down every vital trail, every path those wild hogs might use to escape. The game was on. No matter how cunning they are, wild boars are creatures of habit, always sticking to the same beaten trails between feeding grounds and cover. As soon as the beast stepped out from behind the brush, I squeezed the trigger. One shot. Boom! Clean, precise, professional. It dropped instantly, never even made it to the tree line on the other side. For a true hunter, victory doesn't come from brute strength. It comes from a mind that knows how to read the game. The sun was beating down hard as we moved up the hillside. We knew the heat would drive the prey into thick brush for cover, and that's when our four-legged partner truly earns his keep. The moment a dark shape broke through the bushes, I squeezed the trigger. A burst of shots tore through the air. Loud, sharp, final. The beast went down in an instant. Our teamwork isn't just from training, it's forged from hundreds of hunts, moments where life and death were just heartbeats apart. The calm didn't last long. The hounds picked up the scent again, their barks echoing through the hills. Everyone froze, breath held, waiting. Then, out of nowhere, it came charging from the base of the hill, straight at me. No hesitation. I raised my rifle and took aim. Boom! Boom! 2 shots. Clean hit. Dropped it on the spot. Danger was close, too close. But we hunters stand our ground. Every inch of this land is home, and protecting it from savagery isn't just our duty, it's a vow we'll never break. If that shot gave you chills, drop us a like. After hours of lying in wait, we had barely closed our eyes for a quick rest when the signal came through. The boar was roaming near the foot of the hill. Instantly, the team was on the move. The hounds did their job, flushing the beast from its cover. I followed its line of escape, steady and focused, then pulled the trigger. Boom! The shot landed square on target. One clean hit, no wasted motion. The animal dropped instantly. That single decisive shot was the result of thousands of hours of training, razor-sharp focus, and a heart that never flinches. The barrel was still hot when word came in from below. Our team had spotted the alpha boar. After an entire day of tracking, our efforts were finally paying off. I held my ground, ready to intercept. The ambush plan was set. It blocked both ends of its escape route. The whole forest seemed to hold its breath. The moment it stepped out of the brush, David swung his rifle toward it, then boom! A thunderous shot ripped through the silence, shaking the trees. Unstoppable, powerful, the beast's massive frame collapsed to the forest floor. Just when we thought the hunt was over for the day, we spotted another target, lurking dangerously close to the highway. From a distance, the hound's barks grew louder, pushing the dark, furious shadow right toward my position. I held my breath, finger on the trigger, waiting for the perfect moment. Then, boom! Clean, fast, decisive. The beast crashed to the ground, bringing the chase to an abrupt end. Remember this, if you're not a trained hunter, don't ever try to face these animals head on. Out here, the line between hunter and hunted can vanish in an instant. The Land Cruiser, heavy with today's hard-earned haul, rumbled down the trail on the way home. Inside each of us, a quiet joy spread. We're ready to trade sleep, strength, even face danger. Just to see the grateful smiles of the locals, knowing their fields are safe once again. Hit follow and join us as we write the next chapter of this journey tomorrow. Across the United States, a silent but brutal war is unfolding. The enemy of the farmers is not disease or drought, but the aggressive wild boars. They plow through fields, destroy crops, turning bountiful harvests into battlefields of ruin, causing damage worth millions of dollars. To protect the hard-earned work of the people, a team of elite hunters has set out. Alex, a seasoned hunter with years of experience, leads his team on this high-stakes adventure. Join them as they embark on this thrilling journey to hunt wild boars. Alex's team quickly split into smaller groups, each assigned a specific task. One group led the charge with specially trained hounds. With their keen sense of smell, the dogs quickly picked up the scent, their barking echoing through the forest, signaling the start of the chase. We made our way toward the hillside, a perfect hiding spot for the wild boars. The team quickly spread out to find their positions. The hounds, meanwhile, began sniffing around, performing their task. From a distance, the dogs began barking. A dramatic chase was underway. The wild boar appeared, charging at breakneck speed. Alex swiftly raised his rifle, firing in quick succession along its path. With steely determination, Alex finally brought down the aggressive boar. It was a fierce battle, but also a reminder of the animals that have impacted human lives. A successful start to the hunt, promising a day full of action ahead. We moved toward the ambush site we had set up deep in the forest. There they were. The second target had appeared. Through modern binoculars, Alex spotted them from a distance. A massive group of boars, tearing through the crops with reckless abandon. At this point, every move, no matter how small, had to be executed with perfect precision. But these wild boars were no easy prey. Boom! A shot hit one in the shoulder. The sound of the gun startled the herd. They charged off at breakneck speed, weaving through the trees, escaping the team's pursuit. The start of today's hunt may not have gone smoothly, but it only fueled the team's determination to eliminate these beasts. On the other side, Jack, an experienced hunter in Alex's team, received the signal and took his position. Anticipating the boar's escape route, Jack chambered around and kept his eyes sharp, watching intently. This time, he wasn't gonna let them slip away. Just then, a boar charged out like a speeding bullet. Seizing the opportunity, Jack pulled the trigger. The first shot missed. But without hesitation, Jack squeezed the trigger again. And this time, the boar collapsed, sliding to a halt on the ground. It was a fierce determination to protect the village, reflecting the will of the hunter standing firm against the destructive beasts. After a midday rest to recharge, the team decided to move down towards the fields in the afternoon. The group was dispersed to sweep through the area and track the boars. Please stay tuned and keep your eyes on the screen. What comes next is sure to be a thrilling display. At this moment, Jack stood on a high ridge, able to survey the entire field. The tension in the air was palpable, like a taut bowstring. Just as expected, Jack chambered around, ready for the shot. Sure enough, from the dry thicket, two boars charged toward the dense grasslands. He quickly locked onto his target, bringing it into close range. Boom! Boom! 2 shots, 2 boars down. In just a few seconds, Jack took down both boars with precision. Inside the lush green field, herons spread their wings and flew overhead. I focused intently on a target just ahead. This was the team's most advanced rifle, with unparalleled long-range accuracy. The moment came. I held my breath, my eyes glued to the scope. My palm gripped the stock tightly, feeling the cold wood beneath my fingers. Boom! The gunshot rang out. The wild boar vanished into thin air, leaving only a cloud of white smoke rising into the sky. The marksman had completed his task, restoring a peaceful shade of green. It was time for the team to pack up and head home, but on the way back, Jack sensed a potential target nearby. He quickly moved into position, ready for the final shot of the day. The grass was tall, obscuring part of the boar's body, but it couldn't escape Jack's sights. "It's time. I'll end this hunt with precision," he muttered. With those words, Jack squeezed the trigger. True to his word, in an instant, the bullet flew true, putting an end to the wild boar's rampage. The hunt for the day was over. It was a testament to Jack's skill and expertise as a seasoned hunter, reinforcing the team's solemn vow to protect this land. After many long days of tension, the battle against the destroyers has finally come to an end. Thanks to the bravery and skill of Alex and his team, the threat of the wild boars has been pushed back and peace has returned to the fields. The farmers can rest easy, knowing their hard-earned crops are safe. However, this is not the end. The fight to protect the harvest continues. Stay tuned for the next chapter as we embark on more challenging hunts in the hills with the team in the upcoming episode. Don't forget to like and subscribe to support us.